We'll go ahead and just find a comfy spot and just let yourself settle in a little bit. So today we're going to be using eyes and ears. So it looks like you all are in positions where you can, yeah, just have a good view in front of you or whatever good is for you. And then if you want to crack a window, if you're inside, so you can hear as well, that would be great. And so just take a moment, kind of check out your surroundings, noticing who's around you, what's around you. Remembering to look up in the sky. And then now let's settle into our breath. So just taking stock of what's happening with your breath right now. Noticing how far it travels through your body or how not far it travels through your body. Just allowing it to be what it is. No need to force it to do anything. Today we're just going to allow. It's just letting your breath be whatever it is in this moment. And be as mindful as you can of your breath in this moment because we will come back to it in a little while. So I just want you to kind of notice really what your experience with your breath is in this moment so we can sort of compare a little bit later. Now sending your attention to your skin. If you're outside, maybe you can feel the sun touching your skin or the wind kissing your cheeks. If you're inside, just noticing how your clothing is touching your skin, noticing where it might be a little tight, where it's just lightly touching you, brushing up against your skin. And now bringing your awareness to your ears. Let's start if you want to, if you feel okay, just close your eyes. And let your attention now shift over to your ears and to the sounds that you are hearing. Tapping into all the different layers of sound that you can perceive in this moment. And then see if you can stay with just one sound. Pick a sound that's, fairly dominant on your landscape right now. And then just see if you can continue to track it despite other noises. Maybe a car goes by, maybe the wind picks up. See if you can stay with that sound even when other sounds might come and become more dominant. Good work. So, when you're ready in a really gentle way, you can softly open your eyes and then just find a point off in the distance to focus your gaze on and let yourself really focus on that one point. Go ahead and get really familiar with that point, identify its edges, the negative space around it, or maybe it is negative space itself. And then once you become familiar with that one point that you're focusing on in the distance, then start to expand your vision in all directions, up, down, sideways, and really see how far you can stretch it. You're still looking forward, but you're going to stretch your vision as far to each side and up and down as you possibly can. And when you do this, you're just going to allow your eyes to get really soft. Can be an unnatural, it's very natural, but it can be unfamiliar for us to allow our sight to become blurry. We want to stay in focus, but see if you can just let your gaze become really soft. Noticing the crinkles on your forehead, see if you can soften those, soften your face, and just allow your eyes to take in the nice, soft, expanded perspective around you. As you're looking with this soft gaze, I want you to tap back into your breath for a moment and just notice if anything has shifted or changed from when you first tapped in with your breath. And now, with your ears tuned in and your eyes soft, go ahead and take a nice deep breath and smell the air this morning. Noticing what it smells like, what the unique scents are this morning, how it may have shifted or changed since the last time you gave your awareness to the scents. Good morning, Marisa. So we are just softening our gaze, letting our ears expand onto the landscape, and noticing our breath in this moment. And we just took a nice deep breath. So today, our focus is going to be on the familiar and the mundane. I was actually going to look that word up before the call, but I forgot to do that. I love finding out the etymology of words and the original meaning or original intent of the word. And so mundane is a word that often has sort of a blah, kind of boring um, association with it. Um, but I imagine that there might be something more to that word. So I'm going to check it out when we get off the call. But anyway, today what we're going to be doing is we'll start with our gaze first. So I want you to look out onto the landscape and find something that's really familiar to you, something that you look at every day. And it could be a bird too. Maybe it's a bird that comes to your feeder and you're like, oh, it's that cardinal I see all the time. And maybe you pass it by because it's so familiar. So, whatever it is you're looking at, you want it to be something that you may easily pass by just because it's so familiar. And so, today, we're going to be giving our attention to whatever that is. And just let yourself be with that one, whoever it might be right now. And then I'll give you some more guidance and direction in just a moment. But just start to explore and become familiar with it in this moment. And so today's task, if you will, is not so much to necessarily find anything new in this familiar one, but rather to let this one really reveal itself to you. So staying with it long enough for you to discover who it really is, and maybe something you might have not seen or heard or noticed about it before. So allowing it to be the star of the show today. So imagine that it's the first time you'd ever seen one of these, and just really get to know it for the next little while. And just noticing all those moments that you might want to shift away from it. I think it's can be sometimes challenging to stay with the familiar. Maybe not as easy as having your attention captivated by something new and exciting. So when you find yourself drifting away from this one, just gently bring yourself back and continue to stay with it. Good work. So I'll give you the option now. You can either continue to stay and deepen your connection, your relationship, your knowing of this one you've been looking at or listening to, or you can go ahead and shift and find something different. Maybe it's a sound this time, and a sound that is familiar to you, but you maybe don't. Yeah, it's again a sound that you might just pass by. And again, it could be something from nature, or it could be a man made sound, a human made sound, whatever it may be. But let yourself shift if you want to, but continue to stay in owl eyes for as long as you can in your experience, and then shifting out of it if you need to, but keep coming back. As you're being with these two new friends, these old friends, noticing your breath, noticing your heart rate, seeing if you can stay tapped into those as well right now. Okay, and for our next section of this, I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to the familiar, the mundane, that's a little bit closer to all of us, closer at hand, I will say, literally our hands. So go ahead and just put your hand out in front of you. You can rest it on your lap if you want to, either up or down, doesn't matter which side. And just allow yourself to gaze at your hand for the next little while until I let you know when we're going to shift. And yeah, doing the same, getting to know this familiar, this mundane part of ourselves. Just noticing, what if this was the hand of the most beloved person in your life right now? How would you look at that hand? Okay, make sure you take a nice deep breath. Just acknowledging your hand, this part of you, this beautiful part of you. And then when you're ready, you can shift your gaze to the ones that you connected with before. And in your own way, take a few moments and offer gratitude to those ones that you connected with this morning, both the sound and the one you were looking at. And I've heard it said before, some people say that a blessing is even more powerful than gratitude. And so if you feel you want to, you can offer a blessing to the ones that you connected with this morning. Offer them a gift from your heart. And don't forget to offer yourself a blessing this morning. All right. So when you're ready, you can come back. And if you need to head out, you're welcome to do so. I'm going to move myself into a shady spot. But if you want to stay around for our chat, please do. So as usual, I'd love to hear from folks, just hear what your experience was like. What was it that you connected with this morning, and what came up for you by staying with those mundane, familiar ones? Did you take a nap, Anne? I can't hear you, but yeah, it's fine.
I think the wind dried my hair from the back.
Isn't that awesome?
Just a little breeze.
Just a little breeze. That's great. Yeah, would anyone like to share? Yeah, go for it, Julia.
Well, I asked Siri what mundane means, and it's very interesting. It says it means belonging to or characteristic of the earth.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And then the secondary one, earthly, often implies a contrast with what is heavenly or spiritual. Well, there's that judgment that I don't agree
Subscribe
with.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's described by certain cultural groups, but not me.
Yeah. Can you repeat that again one more time?
Earthly or mundane means belonging to or characteristic of the earth.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm so grateful for these Monday morning times when I can connect. We're always connecting with the earth in some way that is not usual for me. I started to say not mundane for me. we use that. I'm going to elevate that word.
Right. Yeah. Bring it back to its original glory, really. I mean, of the earth. That's so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, what a gift if our life really were mundane.
Right. And isn't it interesting that we've made the things of the earth mundane, meaning like boring, not so great, like kind of yawnable, you know? Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how those just what the meaning may have done over time, you know, in culture and how yeah, just how that changes. And I love that you want to I don't know, give it a new life. A new old life, right? Yeah. Thanks, Julia. Linda, please.
Yeah, I've always, not always, I wrote something at one point. I didn't know what to write. And so I wrote about all of the things in around me that I take for granted. And they were mostly nature, you know, and it came to me that it's the holy mundane, you know, the holy mundane is always there, always connected with us. And so I loved the definition of mundane as being of the earth, you know, because it's always there. We're always connected. And so I felt like I so little appreciated it, but when I wrote about it, I really started to appreciate it more. So now I always think about that whenever I'm any place where I'm like, well, there's nothing interesting here. I think, nope, wait a minute. Holy mundane. The holy mundane is here. I just have to, you know, open my eyes and ears like we do in these meditations. So thank you very much. It was really good today.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for that offering, Linda. Anyone else want to share?
I got distracted by downy. I thought I only had one downy woodpecker because I'm doing feeder watch. It turns out I have a couple. I have a male and a female. So as I was looking at my trees, like I saw the downy, totally distracted me. I kept thinking, gotta log it, gotta log it. Today's my log day for feeder watch. That's just it. That's my little thing.
No, but how perfect too. I mean, it goes right along, you know. It's downy woodpeckers are easy to be, you know, to sort of check those off our list quickly, to be like, oh, downy woodpecker, what's next, you know? But the fact that you looked a little bit longer and thought, like, wait a minute, hang on, there's more than one. That's super cool. Awesome, Marisa, thank you. And Anne, I saw you were about to share something as well.
I just wanted to ask you, Kristi, where are you now? Are you in South Carolina? Are you doing the Eastern Shorebirds now?
Yeah, great question. I am. I'm still in the same place. I think last time when Della asked the question, I'm on John's Island. I'm staying, these folks, so I rented an Airbnb from some folks that were like, it's like a share. I've never usually done that before, like a shared space Airbnb. And I decided to do it. I was just like, it'd be nice to be around people, you know, and they're so lovely. And so I stayed with them. I kept like extending my stay. And then I was like, you know, maybe it'd be good for me to be here for a little while and just kind of get my bearings and look around for my own place and whatnot. And so, yeah, I've sort of extended my stay at this Airbnb, and they're just great people. They're really lovely. And so, yeah, I'm in South Carolina, right outside of Charleston. And it's yeah, and I this week actually I didn't have much time to go spend with the shorebirds, but I did last week, and I just feel so grateful to be so close to them this time of year. And um, it's interesting though. I've never been, you know, never been to the South before, but a lot of these places, like the island I love to go to, Kiowa, it's a private island, so you either have to know someone or rent a place out there or whatever to get on the island. And I have found, I actually did, I was Della has a niece that's out there, a nephew, and
Della.
but I know, right? It was like after I told her that, she goes, Kristi, like my nephew's on Kiowa. And so they got me a pass to come on for like the next month. And so it's awesome. So I've been able to, so now I can go out when I want to. It's just finding the time to do it. So, but yeah, that's where I am right now. And it's, yeah, it's pretty special. It's just, it's kind of fun to check out a different part of the world, you know, that I've never experienced, like alligators, you know, like how are you supposed to be around alligators, you know? I know. And for me this morning, so even though this is all still relatively new to me, like because I've been here for a couple weeks now, you know, I have gotten to know some of the ones around here. And there's a banana tree, which I think is just someone planted a banana tree in their yard, but there's a banana tree, like it's not, I don't think it's native to here, but it's in the neighbor's yard. And I look at it all the time and I'm like, oh, banana tree, banana tree. So it was just really awesome to get to look at that banana tree and just really wonder about it and kind of get to know it, even as a unique individual, not just like banana tree, but to spend some time. And yeah, and while I was listening, I got to hear a house finch, which for me, back in Connecticut, the house finch would have been one of those common mundane birds that I would have been like, oh, house finch, like, and then I would have sort of listened beyond it for what else was new and exciting. But here, I haven't heard a house finch in the longest time. And so this morning I was like, oh, a house finch, it's got such a pretty song. You know, it's like when you don't hear them for a long time, it just, they're, yeah, just finding that beauty and that majesty in the things that, you know, sorry for the loud truck, finding the beauty and majesty in those things that have become sort of classic and typical and mundane to us is, it's a real gift. Because, you know, it's like, it's the classic sort of thing people say, it's like, you know, you really love it when it's gone, kind of a thing. And it is true in that way, that it doesn't have to be gone necessarily, but maybe it's just not around you as much anymore. Like that's the beauty of the seasons too, with the migration, you know, when we get to see the birds that leave and then come again and all of that. And so, yeah, I'm feeling grateful myself for this practice this morning. And even just looking at my own hand, I felt really emotional at that one point. It was just like, wow, that can be a really powerful exercise, you know, to give ourselves that love and attention that we often give the outer world, right? And so I'll invite you all, if you I don't know, that can be a hard one to do. I kept finding myself like avoiding it, you know, being like, oh, I'll look up and see if there's anything in the sky. And it was like, nope, stay with your hand, you know, just noticing how I wanted to like look away. And then what came up when I just stayed with it. So yeah, I'm just feeling grateful for you all wanting to play and and practice this morning.
It looks
So
warm
thank you,
where
and
you are.
apologies.
Yeah.
It is.
It
I know,
looks
it's
really
actually,
nice and warm.
I know,
hate
I actually
you.
have I know, I do too. The the funny thing is another friend is coming to visit today, and I said to him, I was like, well, today's a really good day because it's like but I said, but it's kind of cold, and then I was like, I can't believe I'm saying that. I was like, it's like 70 degrees, you know, but it's been like 80 something, and so I'm like I really shouldn't even, because he just came from the north, you know, and and so I'm like, yeah. It's relative to the rest of the country, and I've spent many a year like living in a yurt in Idaho in the wintertime, you know, so you know, I get it. I know what that's like, and so I'm soaking up every minute of it. I'm just really enjoying it, and I'm sorry for those of you who are in the warm world right now. But hey, come to South Carolina and we'll go birding. Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Does anyone else have anything they want to say before we head out? Anything that you want to, a story you want to have heard from this morning that wasn't captured yet?
Very good.
Okay. Well, thanks again, everyone, and we will see you next week. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.